Welcome to today's launch of an exciting new technology from ANSYS. As you'll soon hear, ANSYS has developed a groundbreaking technology that will reshape the way engineers everywhere do their product design. We believe this technology is a true game changer in the decade-long quest to democratize simulation and make it useful and relevant to every engineer. During the session, our Vice President and General Manager, Mark Hinsbo, will introduce you to the new product, demonstrate its capabilities, and provide some real-world testimonials from various users around the world. At any time during Mark's presentation, you'll have an opportunity to submit your questions directly to the people responsible for developing this new technology. Before we begin, though, here are a few brief announcements. This event is being recorded and will be available on demand at ansys.com/discovery. Today's event will be interactive. We encourage you to submit posts on social media to share your comments and excitement. Also, please disable any pop-up blockers you may have installed. They can interfere with certain aspects of our web conference. And now, I'd like to take you to ANSYS headquarters in Pittsburgh to hear from our Vice President and General Manager, Mark Hinsbo.
Thank you for joining us for this product launch. Today's a very special day that we have been looking forward to for quite a while. Hopefully the reason why will be obvious at the end of this event. For decades, engineering simulation has enabled innovation. It's enabled companies and individuals to create products that would otherwise not have been possible or been prohibitively expensive to build and analyze using conventional methods. The digital prototype that you can build with simulation allows for virtual exploration of product behavior. Yet despite having been around for over 50 years, engineering simulation is still not used by every engineer, nor is it used for every product. Why is that? Well, like all technologies, I think it comes down to complexity. Engineering simulation is powerful, but it requires a substantial learning curve, and it takes time to set up, to run, and analyze. In some instances, it's decades of learning to become an expert, and it can be from days to months for a single simulation to run end-to-end. It sort of reminds me of the internet in the early 1990s. I was an early adopter. I was actually excited to show this new digital world to my wife. And after about 10 minutes of getting the modem to connect, another 10 minutes of painfully slow downloads, I was able to access my bank account. Big eureka moment, to which my wife just dryly replied that she could have called the bank several times and received the same information. Now fast forward to today, where we're always on, where we have a smartphone in our back pocket and the way we now use the internet. Much more natural, much more pervasive. At ANSYS, we have a vision of pervasive engineering simulation, of all products and all engineers benefiting from simulation across the entire life cycle of a product. We continually ask ourselves, how can we make engineering simulation radically easier to use and faster in yielding insights? What you are about to see is the result of breakthrough research and development in our ANSYS labs that we have merged with the best of our heritage to create a product that does exactly that. Very easy to use simulation for real-time digital exploration. Without any further ado, let's see the actual product. I think that's the best way to understand what I'm talking about. I am happy and excited to introduce the product that we call ANSYS Discovery Live, and to turn you over to Justin Hendrickson, who will give you a quick tour.
This is ANSYS Discovery Live, the first real-time simulation environment for rapid concept exploration. Running a simulation here is as easy as opening a model, assigning a few basic boundary conditions, and watching results appear immediately. What you're looking at is real-time simulation, no pre-computation, no 2D simplification, a full 3D simulation. To prove it, let's change some of the boundary conditions. Let's make this inlet and outlet. In case you missed it, let's flip it back. Now we focus on making three things interactive. The first was the results themselves. The second is the display of those results. We've created a number of interactive tools. Here you can see the Streamline tool. Another interactive tool is this display of velocities or a slice of the volume with their direction. Now, I mentioned there are three things that are interactive. The third thing is the connection to geometry. As fast as you can make a change to the model, the simulation results will update. No transfer times, no interaction, just the ability to take changes and ideas and explore them instantaneously. Now let's add another type of physics. Let's do a structural simulation on this same part. We'll assign a few basic boundary conditions, some fixed supports, and one force at the bottom. As fast as I can type in this force, we immediately see results. We can look at the deformation and we can start to ask questions like what if? What if we change the material? What if we change the size of the load? How would these impact the design? We can go further. Just like we did in the fluid simulation, we can make changes to the geometry. Here we'll use a chart to compare and numerically evaluate these changes. Let's say that I want to add a supporting rib. Here this support lowers the peak stress on my pipe by about 30%. I can continue to make whatever changes and whatever ideas I have interactively while our charted results update. Let's look at another example. Let's say this time we want to design something from scratch. We want to design a heatsink. Now this heatsink will start as a very, very basic sheet of metal. We'll assign a thermal simulation and we'll assign one load, a number of watts that need to be dissipated by the CPU. Again, we'll add a chart so that we can chart our progress as we make changes on the design. As a first step, let's add a single fin through the middle of the heatsink. You'll notice I get immediate results in display temperatures, and on my chart I see that I am certainly improving performance. The temperature of my heatsink is getting lower and lower. Now maybe I want to go in a completely different direction. Maybe instead of sheets of metal, we'll use prongs. Here I'll sketch one with the included modeling tools, use patterning capabilities to turn these into a larger set. Again, as fast as I can model these, I see updates to my results, and I see an improved peak performance. I can even start to evaluate things like a reduction in the amount of material being used and evaluate that trade-off with the overall performance of my design. Again, let's add another type of simulation. Let's put this heatsink in a virtual wind tunnel. In seconds, I get immediate results. I can change interactively the size of the wind tunnel and view qualitative things such as the path of the air as it moves along the heatsink. This gives me a feel for how it actually touches the surfaces. I can go one step further. I can add additional boundary conditions, things like temperatures on the heatsink from our previous simulation. We can then look at a display of the temperature throughout the volume as heat moves from the heatsink into the fluid and progresses downstream. Again, like everything in Discovery Live, it's live. Any change to the geometry is reflected in the simulation immediately. In fact, I can even take a boundary condition and remove it entirely. Things like turning off the flow rate here, so the only thing left is buoyancy effects as heat transfers to the fluid and begins to rise. Let's take a look at one final example, maybe something a bit more complex. Here we have an assembly of a vehicle, which we will again stick inside of a virtual wind tunnel. Here, using the same interactive result displays that we did for the fluid simulation, we can use them to evaluate airflow outside and around the vehicle. We can see where it passes, maybe where it starts to create a bottleneck, the effect of things like side view mirrors. All of this can be used to gain early insight into an overall design. Just to demonstrate some of the power of Discovery Live, let's take this vehicle and make a copy of it with inside the volume. You'll notice I can do this in seconds and I get a real-time update. The game is about to change for every engineer, thanks to ANSYS Discovery Live.
Thank you, Justin. Seeing really is believing when it comes to ANSYS Discovery Live. We named this product Discovery because we believe it enables exploration of designs. And Live because geometry, physics, and results are all live and can be manipulated in real time. For those of you familiar with simulation today, you can probably appreciate the game-changing nature of this product. You know the tremendous effort in setting up, running, and analyzing a digital prototype. However, the engineers in the next generation will just expect simulation to be the way you just saw it in Discovery Live, like smartphones accessing the internet today. Think about that story I told you about the early internet, where it took a long time to dial up and get access, and the way we use it today with smartphones that are always on. Making technology easy and immediate changes the way we use it. We start taking it for granted. It becomes pervasive. In the same way, we believe Discovery Live will change the way we use engineering simulation. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from some of our customers and partners that have been early adopters. First, let me introduce you to Cummins. Cummins is a global power leader. They make some of the world's best engines, power systems, and components. They have a long history of innovation, continually building more powerful, efficient, and cleaner engines. I'm happy to introduce Bob Tickle, one of the foremost leaders in using engineering simulation to drive product innovation.
I want to say thank you for the opportunity to come and share my perspective and the Cummins opinion on the Discovery Live tool. Cummins has a long-term commitment to analysis-led design. We're very focused on getting our designs right the first time, and we believe that doing things in the computer are just better. This is going to allow us to move faster, reduce testing, and ultimately save money and provide shareholder value and customer value. Our first impression of the tool was that it's a game changer, that we can do a lot faster, which is part of our analysis-led design initiative, but also it's easy to use. The results are real-time. You can make a change to a part in terms of a small feature or even large features and get that direct feedback to see what the impact of it is. Very easy to do what-if studies. It's something you need to see to believe, and I've gone beyond that to say you actually need to get into your hands, test it, to really believe it. We're anxious to see how we might deploy this tool and this technology at Cummins. We have a long history, again, with analysis-led design and with the desire to do things faster and better. But ultimately, we can be more innovative. We can continue that long-standing tradition at Cummins.
Thank you very much, Bob. You heard Bob talk about some of the key aspects of Discovery Live, about their initial experiences with it and their expectations going forward. Firstly, Bob talked about the potential to get many more people involved in simulation. That is exactly why we built this tool, to make it accessible and usable for all engineers. Secondly, he talked about the ease of use, the instantaneous results. This is what enables exploration, to pose what-if questions, get immediate feedback, get results right away. Thirdly, he said it could be a game changer, and that you need to get your hands on it to really understand it. We'll talk more about that later. Right now, I'd like to introduce you to another early adopter, Travis Jacobs. He's the founder and principal at Jacobs Analytics. They're a startup that uses simulation to design innovative products. Travis?
Jacobs Analytics is a small startup company that works on fun products. We have two projects going on right now. One of them is a barbecue smoker, and the other one is a titanium bike frame, which will be 3D printed. Think of it this way. You can solve a problem today virtually for $1. That same problem 3 months from now when it goes into pre-production will cost you $1,000 or more. We love simulation. We use it all the time for everything that we do. We can create quick concepts in a day or two, and we can validate those using the ANSYS suite of tools, which saves us so much time and money. Instead of spending hours or even days to get a validated model, we can do it in a matter of minutes. Discovery Live has really changed our mindset when it comes to designing and engineering new products. The speed, accuracy, and ease of use is incredible, and it allows us to create so many new and better products in a much shorter period of time for a whole lot less money.
Thank you very much, Travis, for sharing your experiences. You heard from Travis about the speed to solution, that you can be up and running with your first simulation and getting insights within minutes. That is a big deal, and it will change the way we do design. At ANSYS, we're deeply passionate about the power of digital exploration. but it's been almost impossible to swim in real time in this digital ocean of design options. And as a result, we're still mainly using rule of thumb and building and breaking our way into innovation. That is going to change. Lastly, I'd like to highlight that engineering simulation is not just for large companies and very complex engineering projects. It truly is for all engineers and all type of products, as Travis' story hopefully tells you. Now, let's take a look at another story of a Wyoming startup company that has been very successful in using Discovery Live. Olivia Lim is an engineering analyst at Heirloom Energy who's providing a revolutionary design of an alternative to the wind turbine. In her words, they found Discovery Live invaluable because it gave them instant answers to questions and let them simulate different variables, such as wind speed, direction, airfoil pitch angles, and frame designs. As a startup company, primarily concerned with launching a product, they don't have teams of dedicated analysts with specialized simulation knowledge. So they lean on Discovery Live to ultimately provide quick insights that they could verify through either validation studies or physical testing. They found that it's so much better to change a variable on a simulation model and instantly know the impact on design rather than to run a physical test. These were just a few stories. We will be sharing many more in the coming months. We'd also love to hear from you. Hear your story once you get your hands on Discovery Live. But now let me shift gears a little bit and talk about our roadmap for Discovery Live. Right now, we're transitioning from R&D into shipping a real product. The first step is this technology preview. It's a stable beta product that allows us to share the excitement, get the technology out, and hopefully get a lot of feedback that allows us to continue developing the technology. The second phase comes in Q1 of 2018 when we ship the first commercial release. During the period from now until then, we'll obviously continue on working to mature the product based on the feedback that we've already received and the feedback that we will hopefully get from you as you try out the technology preview. We already know that the technology can solve so many more problems than we have in the technology preview, or even that the first version of the product will have. So in 2018 and 2019, you'll see continued research and development and a very rapid product expansion. While we are very passionate about Discovery Live, we also realize that it's not the solution for every problem, nor does it supplant every other engineering simulation solution. So let me just expand a little bit more on what we believe it's good at and how it fits with the other ANSYS products. Discovery Live goes where no other simulation product has gone before. It really expands the market and the usage of simulation. Its sweet spot is that early design exploration, where you need directional feedback on whether one design option is better than another. This is white space where simulation has not been used before for all the reasons we spoke about in the introduction. For new users that might never have thought about using simulation before, and for real-time exploration in the early design phase, where interactivity and real-time experience is a game changer. Now, if you're familiar with ANSYS' flagship products, you know that they're the culmination of decades of feature development and of validation against an incredible body of physical tests. They represent the broadest and deepest set of simulation products in the market today, and they are valued for their unrivaled accuracy. Discovery Live does not compete against them. For detailed prototyping and for design validation, you'll want our flagship solvers. Now, Discovery Live works with the other products. You can do this rapid digital exploration, and then you can export the solution to one of our other products for more sophisticated and detailed analysis. It can be the design engineer themselves that want to do more exploration in ANSYS AIM, or it could be collaborating with an analyst for solving some of the world's absolutely most complex problems in either mechanical, fluent, or Maxwell. Okay, it looks like we have time to answer a couple of the questions that we received. So the first question we received is, how are you able to achieve simulation this quickly? Well, firstly, we have built a brand new solver technology we've based this on graphics card and built it from the ground up. This includes new numerical methods that take advantage of the way GPUs are built. GPUs are massively parallel, and a good graphics card today has thousands of cores, and the performance is growing twice that of Moore's law for ordinary chips. You will need a graphics card to run Discovery Live, but for about $500 today, you can get a card that makes it fly. Speaking of GPUs, let's just take a look at this slide. You can see how fast compute power is increasing on graphics card, and we've been working very closely with NVIDIA to tap into exactly that. In fact, they are innovating twice as fast as Moore's law, and we're innovating equally fast on the software algorithm side. And when you put those two exponential curves together, it truly becomes staggering. We've coupled that with our foundation, right, our heritage in solver technology, and also in the Space Claim product that has fast and flexible geometry and allows for real-time manipulation. So putting that together with the new solver technology, that is what has allowed us to deliver the Discovery Live product. Okay, second question is, how does this interact with other ANSYS products? I touched a little bit upon this earlier, but we really realized the need for interaction between the early discovery and the early exploration phase with later detailed analysis. And Discovery Live will become a part of our other designer-level tools, such as Space Claim and AIM, and all of them integrate with our Workbench platform. And the Workbench platform is what allows them to interact with all the other tools, so that you can take the solution from Discovery Live and interact with Mechanical or Fluent and so on. Okay, one more question. I think we have time for one more question. How much will it cost and how will it be sold? Well, right now we're in the tech preview phase, and it's a little too early to answer those questions. It's actually some of the work we have to do as part of getting a commercial product to market. But what I can say is that we're looking at pricing and business models so Discovery Live becomes a generalist tool for broad usage. We're not looking at this to be a specialist or niche tool. We're really looking at something for broad consumption. Hey, unfortunately, I don't think we have any more time for questions right now. Let me move to some closing remarks. Almost 50 years ago, ANSYS introduced to the market the first commercial engineering simulation solver. What is our mechanical product today and what started the market for engineering simulation? And then about 20 years ago, we introduced the vision of multiphysics. We added CFD, electromagnetics, semiconductor, and system simulation to the portfolio. And today, we've just announced the first real-time, intuitive, live simulation product. Bob at Cummins said it the best, you really need to get your hands on Discovery Live to believe it. I am happy to announce that you can download the tech preview for free at our website at ansys.com/discovery. Now, when you download it, you'll be taken to a technical forum. We're only at the beginning of the journey, and we really want you to share your feedback, insight, and ideas on this forum so that we can continue innovating and improving the technology. Thank you so much for spending 30 minutes with us and letting us share the excitement with you, the excitement of what can happen when engineering simulation becomes pervasive. I hope we also excited you just a little bit and that you will embark with us on this journey. Once again, thank you for your time.